Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Saturday, September the 14th. And welcome to our commentary. Before we get to the commentary, I wanted to say something about Adryana Aldeen. You may have heard that Adriana passed away a couple of days ago in Mexico. She was in Puebla, Mexico. I think she's originally from there, and she passed away there. It was not suddenly or anything like that. She had been in very bad health for a couple of years and eventually, uh, passed away. But, obviously a wonderful person, someone we remember a great deal. I first met Adriana back in the primaries, presidential primaries, back in 2008 when John McCain was running, Mitt Romney was running, Mike Huckabee was running, as you remember. And, we did a couple of podcasts together about immigration, and we started doing some things together on the podcast, and then later that year during the Republican convention, she was a delegate to the Republican convention in Minneapolis. This is the convention, of course, that nominated John McCain, and she went to that convention. And I remember we did a podcast from the convention. She was sitting there on the floor of the convention, and we did a podcast. Very interesting, a lot of fun to do that. By the way, that podcast I am uploading that this Sunday morning on my blog. If you check my blog, it'll be there. It's our conversation with Adriana from Minneapolis and the GOP convention. Then the next year, in July of 2009, when you had that big Dallas Tea Party here in Dallas, they had that huge Dallas Tea Party. Some of you may remember that. And Adriana was once again involved in the Tea Party. So we did another podcast where she was at the Tea Party. I think she even spoke there that day. Not sure, but I think she did. And then we had another podcast from that day, from directly from the Tea Party here, and I think it was in Plano where they had the Tea Party back in 2009. So I had the opportunity to work with her several times on my podcast, as well as here locally on the Spanish television. We did, as I recall, we did a show one time about healthcare with a doctor. This is back when we were debating Obamacare. So we did we did several podcasts together. Then eventually, I think she moved out of town, and I kind of lost touch with her, although I would still see her on Univision or Telemundo or something like that. She was still doing a lot of work in that area. Then I think she remarried, because she used to be known as Adriana Boyne and became Adryana Aldeen, and then I kind of lost touch with her because I think she moved to Austin, I think. But she was still doing work with Univision, and I would see her from time to time doing that. And then I found out a couple of years ago that she was suffering from cancer. And I have to tell you, the way that she dealt with it, the courage and the positive outlook that she dealt with it was something inspiring. And she used to put these things on Facebook about the way she was struggling with it. And I always found it very inspirational. So I know that I never met her new husband, but I have met her two sons. So hopefully, they deal with this, and it's got to be, I'm sure, a very difficult loss for them. But I just wanted to express to them, as well as to all of Adriana's friends, what a wonderful lady she was, and how much I valued the things that we did together. She was just an absolutely great person. Adriana Boyne, who was born in 1964 in Puebla, Mexico, I believe, and passed away a few days ago in Puebla, Mexico. She was, I think, 60 years old, I believe, from the information that I have. So rest in peace, Adriana, and to her family, well, my best to all of you. Well, I have a post over at the American Thinker today talking about Mark Penn and ABC. The backlash about ABC continues, and it's not going to go away. Now, there's not a heck of a lot that Mark Penn or anybody honestly can do He wants to have an investigation, but that's not going to happen because ABC is a private company, so there's nothing you can do. But what I think needs to happen is, I mentioned in my article, is that ABC has to do some soul searching and come clean and realize that what they did was wrong. And what they did was not just wrong in the sense of right and wrong, but bad for the profession. This was a very bad day for journalism. And it's a shame because honestly, over the years, we've had some really good reporters in these debates. And I think for the most part, they've been very good. And they've been good because I think they understood that they didn't want to be the story. The story was the candidates, and their job was just to put issues on the table and questions. And, you know, the ones that I've seen over the years, with the exception of Candy Crowley in 2012, who got a little carried away, but it was just a moment. It wasn't the whole thing, just a small moment. When she got carried away a little bit, I think, I don't remember exactly, but I think she passed an answer to Obama or something like that. But other than that, I think the reporters have been excellent. I thought the reporters in the CNN debate that they had, Biden, Trump, back in June, I thought those reporters were pretty good too. Again, because they stayed away from activism and they simply asked the questions and stepped aside, period. The reporters here with ABC made big mistakes and fact checking only President Trump. It's hard to believe that they didn't realize that they were going to get in trouble, you know, selectively fact checking only one candidate. I mean, who put this thing together? I mean, who sat around the table telling these guys what to do? I mean, it's kind of hard for me to believe that this happened, but I guess it shows you how sometimes people can be, well, not good at what they're doing. So nothing's going to happen, but clearly ABC has to come clean. They have to make a public admission of this, not necessarily an apology, but simply accept the fact that they didn't do a good job and they need to do better. That's what they have to do. Now, are they going to do it? I don't know. I don't know because I don't know the economics of ABC. I mean, maybe they're making a lot of money and could care less, but their reputation clearly took a hit that day. Let me talk a little bit about a topic that we've picked up before. We've talked about before, but I have another post about this coming out Sunday morning. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal talking about two things that are happening in our economy that are not very good. The first one is that more and more people are falling behind on their credit card payments. And one of the reasons they're doing that is because more and more people are using credit cards, not debit cards, but credit cards to buy the essentials, food, often borrowing from a credit card to pay off the car, that kind of thing. And now for many people, they've reached the point where they simply cannot make those credit card payments, the monthly payments or whatever. And this is rising to, you know, high level, something of concern to the credit card companies, to say the least. The other issue is car loans, or, you know, car loans to buy cars. That has also fallen into a little bit of a problem for many people. And what's happening is, and, you know, this shouldn't be a shock to anybody, really, anybody who's been paying attention. What's happening is that inflation will ultimately do that. Inflation, you know, when everything is going up, at some point you got to buy food and you're not going to have money to make the car payment. So when you've got inflation going up, you've got electricity bills going up, you've got car insurance going up, home insurance going up. If you rent, the rents are going up. I mean, at some point, your budget is out of money. And some of the, you know, credit cards and car payments obviously don't get made. Now, how serious this is? Well, it could be. It could be serious. It could be serious because this could be the early signs of a recession. It could be. I'm not saying it is. But I think, you know, we're just going to have to deal with the fact that inflation has consequences. And one of the consequences is that people run out of money. It's just that simple. If you have to pay more for everything, at some point, you're paying more for everything and your income is not going up at the same pace, well, eventually you're going to run out of money, as we're seeing happening with a lot of people. So it could be a story. It could be a big issue as more and more people are simply, not able to make the car payments and so on. A quick note here on this day in history, September the 14th. This is a baseball note. On this day in 1968, Denny McLain of the Detroit Tigers became the last pitcher to win 30 games. We haven't had anybody close to 30. Bob Welch had 27 back, I think, in 1990. But we don't have that many 20 game winners anymore. But Denny McLain won 30 on this day in 1968 and became the last pitcher to do it, or was the last pitcher to do it. And frankly, I doubt anybody is going to come close to 30 games just because of the way they're using the rotation now. Many teams have a 5-pitcher rotation. And when you have a 5-man rotation, then you're only going to get about 30 or 32 starts in a season, which means it's going to be very difficult to win 30 games. But Denny McLain won 30 games on this day back in 1968. Have a great day, everybody. And again, our sympathies to the family of Adryana Aldeen and our best wishes to all of them on the passing of Adryana, the mother and wife that she was. Have a great day, everybody. This is Silvio Cantu in Dallas.